So we have our own in-house apprenticeship program. We can bring anyone that comes completely green to us, and we can bring them up through our own internal schooling program and turn them into a first-class lineman over the course of about 5 years. We wanted to make sure that we knew that our linemen were completely qualified to do the work.
The program combines hands-on learning with a structured educational model as well. So not only are employees doing on-the-job training, but they're also learning in an educational setting through online modules of what right looks like and how to perform that skill and task to standard the right way.
My junior year of high school, I went to a career fair at the Augusta Civic Center. They had a bunch of other line companies out there, and I spoke to a couple of them. I was more attracted to Coutts Brothers because they had some really nice equipment out there staged, and had some good conversations with some of the guys that were out there, and struck my interest that they were a local company and mostly stayed in the state of Maine.
When I started out, I didn't know a single thing. I just had a really good work ethic. You start out your apprenticeship, you usually start at the bottom, you're kind of like a grunt. You just do all the labor, more intensive, hard work, and then eventually you start moving up, and as long as you're working good, you'll progress very well.
One thing that apprenticeships do is they help to create a clear career pathway. If I complete this training, if I can master this skill, then I'll get to the next level. So at Coutts Brothers, our apprenticeship follows some really clear steps. It goes from a third-class line worker to a second-class line worker, ultimately to a first-class line worker. And so that's nice for the employee to know that as I get into this apprenticeship, there's a clear pathway forward for me.
The knowledge that you have with the leadership here is bar none. You can go to them, ask them the question. That's the biggest thing here at Coutts that you have. You always have that point of contact in person versus having to call and go through sources. You can physically go to someone, ask them the question, and they're super knowledgeable with their answers.
A good portion of the apprenticeship is on the job, what you learn out in the field day to day, working with all the other guys. That's probably a bigger portion of the apprenticeship than actually just taking the test.
80% of this industry is learning with your hands, and they know that here at Coutts, and they get you out in the field and get you to it.
Some people are very book smart, some people are more hands-on. I can read something over and over again in a book and only remember 20% of it, but I can do something once out here in the field as long as I'm doing it with my hands or seeing it with my own eyes, and I'll never forget it.
During our apprenticeship, they actually see what linemen do on a day-to-day basis, instead of necessarily in a completely controlled environment. While they're going through the apprenticeship program, they're also actually working for us full-time. So not only are they getting the schooling portion of it online and in person, they're also getting the real feel of it out in the field work.
I get paid to learn, pretty much. They give you the opportunity to not have to go through a lineman school or anything like that, so you're not paying 20 grand, and they'll give you the opportunity as long as you work hard.
One of the things that makes our apprenticeship special at Coutts Brothers is that these apprenticeships are formally registered with the Maine Department of Labor, and we're also registered with the Department of Veterans Affairs. What that means is our apprenticeships have gone through a vetting process with the Maine Department of Labor. They've looked at the training that we're provided, they've evaluated our company, and they've actually come and done an inspection to make sure that we're meeting the regulatory standards of the industry. What that means for our people is that when they complete an apprenticeship, they're actually getting a certificate saying that they have put all these hours and all this work into their trade and their skill.
There's a lot of people that are graduating high school and they don't know what they want to do. This gives them a tool and an avenue to go down. Instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars on some sort of a school, it gives them the ability to be making real money instead of paying money and having student loans, going out of state, and then trying to find a job after that.
Once you top out as a first-class lineman, you tend to get a brand new apprentice. I started as an apprentice. My mentor was a first-class lineman, and I spent about 3.5 years on a bucket truck on distribution with him. I was fortunate enough to learn a lot from him. In return, I was able to take all that knowledge that I learned from him and give it back to all the younger guys coming up through that are going to become my apprentice.
The guys I work around every day definitely made it easier. A lot of these guys are real easygoing. We all get along very well. The dynamic here is super relaxed, and you can't get much better than the employees that I work around, the coworkers that I have here.
Something you want to do it, jump on it. If you like being outside, you like working up in the air, you're not afraid of heights, you don't mind the elements, the 4 seasons, do it, don't wait.
Line work's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But if you're willing to come in and put in a good day's worth of work and learn as much as you can, I definitely think this is something that you should be interested in.